Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Friday here. It is the Hoops Hour. It's 5 o'clock, and you know what that means. I'm here live breaking down college hoops for tonight. Got a couple games, got 12 games on the card tonight. We'll get to all 12 of them. We'll give a pick for them. Tell you which ones I like the most. I'll tell you what, last night was a fucking banging night. Did push on my premium selection, which I really like that play. Sanford +8, tied with 4 minutes to go. The game pushes. What are you going to do? But you look at the show. I mean, Penn State winner, Northeastern winner, Cincinnati winner, North Texas winner, Wofford University winner, West Kentucky winner, Washington winner, Campbell winner, FIU Rice loser, UCF loser. I mean, what more do you want? I think I gave 12 picks and 10 won. I'm not going to pat myself on the back, but that's why you need to join me. I give out the good stuff. We try to go over every game we can. We try to go over all the stuff. We try to have some fun here, and we'll give out a couple free plays as well. I'm going to go over each game, let you know if I'd play it or wouldn't. This is a tough card. I'm not going to lie about it. There's some good spots, but they look like tough spots. And when you have a 12-game card, when you have a 100-game card for tomorrow, you can't go crazy. But we're going to get into it here in just a second. Thanks out there to everyone for joining me. Appreciate all of you. I always enjoy chatting with all of you guys. We'll do some shout-outs here in just a second. If you're on Twitter, do me a favor, retweet the show. It's a great way to get it out to people. We want to get this show popping everywhere. I just finished up. Also, guys, look out for it. Comes out about midnight, I think, or somewhere around there. I just did the Saturday breakdown with Greg Peterson on his podcast. Went over 5 games. We also had a great conversation about certain basketball players in the country. I'm hoping Greg and I can work together in the future on something weekly, in addition to what we already do. Greg's going to actually start joining us next week for a show every week. He's going to come onto my channel. So, all we want to do is put out great content and hope that it translates into helping people. So make sure you check that out as well. Let's get to some comments here. James Ross, always one of the first people in here. Thanks for joining us. Isaac, Keith, Mikey, Jason, Jordan, Rock NYC, Salty Dog, David, Shadow, Mike, Alex, Anthony, Michael, Sacktown, Anthony, Terrell, Ryan Savegny, R.S. Jacobs, Mike V, Christopher Wilson, Trenton, Jacobs, Daddy OF, Pablo, Yaez, Justin, Vegas, Adam, Matt, Coco, Yergs, Chino. So many people in here. Welcome into all of you. We do appreciate it. Thanks for doing it every day. I'm catching on to this college basketball thing. Yep. I hit a 7-game parlay on yesterday's leans. Make sure you send a fucking couple dollars over. Let's get into it here. What's up, TJ, Jay, Edgar, Andy? All you guys. Thanks for joining us here. Let's get into it. We'll start out first with the St. Louis Billikens heading on the road to take on St. Joe's. St. Louis at 3. You can get a 2.5 at Bet Online. Total 134.5. You look at St. Joe's. I mean, you obviously look at this team and you got to kind of feel bad for them. Phil Martelli just lost his father. He also has. This has been a tough luck team. I mean, they've lost a lot of talent over the last few years. Shavar Newkirk was injured last year. Lamar Kimball was injured last year. Charlie Brown was injured last year. Lamar Kimball now injured this year. Pianfresco Olivier injured as well. Longpre injured. Ryan Daly still not eligible. It's been a tough luck year. It's been a tough luck couple of years for Phil. You have to figure St. Joe's at home here will provide a little pep in their step after the death of Phil's father, Phil Sr., I believe. One thing about St. Joe's that they do is they don't turn the basketball over, and you have to respect that. Phil always has good teams as far as they don't make stupid mental mistakes. They're also a very good free throw shooting team. That is a way you can stay in games. It just is. You look at this St. Louis team, not a particularly good offensive team. They just aren't. Now, Javon Best is going to play tonight, and obviously that's important. But there are a couple things that St. Louis don't do that I think are going to be a problem here. You look at free throw percentage, and while St. Joe's shoots 74%, while that's so important, because you look at St. Louis, they shoot 60% from the line. This team loses games. They lost the game against Davidson University because they could not make free throws. I've talked time and time again about it. You also look at the fact that St. Louis really gets you on the glass. Not going to happen tonight. St. Joe's 9th in the country as far as defensive rebounding. Do a nice job at rebounding the ball. You also look at the fact, one thing also about Martelli's teams that I absolutely always love, they can guard without fouling. They do a nice job at not fouling guys to get in. And that's what St. Louis wants to do. They want to get to the tin. They want to create contact. They want to get to the hoop. It's just not something that St. Joe's really allows. I think this is a low-scoring game. I think the pace will suit St. Joe's here just because I don't think St. Louis provides much in the way of an offensive issue. I think, honestly, right now, I like what I'm seeing. And I know, look, St. Joe's isn't winning a lot of games, but, they're starting to hang, let's say, in games. And you look at the last game they played against LaSalle. They lost, which is just a bad loss. But Charlie Brown's still scoring points. Lorenzo Edwards gave them something. Troy Holston, the guy that comes over from South Florida, I think this is a stub your toe type of game. And I'm starting to realize that maybe the St. Louis team just isn't that good. I mean, Bess is kind of out, and you lose Cartier Gordon. He transfers. This is a stub your toe type of game. If I'm getting a full 3 points, I'll just hope that late in the game, free throws are important. It's not my favorite game, but I think St. Joe's is worth maybe a look. Have you considered a Saturday show? Yeah, you must not have been reading Twitter. Also, programming note, people, tomorrow, 10 a.m., we will do a Saturday show. It's going to be very fast. It's going to be a lot of games. It's going to be a lot of opinion. I'm not going to be messing much with the chat box. I'm just going to go down the card. That's what I'm going to do. It's that simple. My best games will be on the website, which you can find at rightwager.com. I've hit 34 of 54. But I am going to do a show tomorrow. 10 o'clock a.m. Make sure you're here. I'm not repeating anything. It's got to be quick, guys. It's got to be fast. It's got to be to the point. We're going to put out great info. Make sure you don't miss it. 10 a.m. Eastern. Don't miss it. Let's keep it moving here. 7 a.m. Yeah, well, listen, I can't make everybody happy. Scott Schneider, what's happening? Ron John, what's up? Matt, what's up? Marlon, what's happening? Would I be on the under in this game? Yeah, probably. I think both teams will play in the 60s probably. Maybe highs. Yeah, under looks good. You kind of think this total should be a bit lower, right? Maybe 130, 129 and a half. 134 and a half is a bit high. Definitely like the under as well. It's a good call by you. You should do the same time as the show on SPR. I would not do that. I'm a loyal guy. I respect Ian Cameron and Drew Martin. I'm not going to do that. This isn't their fault. They didn't ask for me to be, for everything to change. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not a dickhead like that. I respect those guys, and I would never do a show the same time they are. Same with Donnie Rightside. If you notice today, I went on at 2 o'clock. I respect Donnie Rightside. I wouldn't go on the same time he is. I'm not that kind of person. So yeah, I mean, some people think that I should do that, but I'm not going to do that. There's no need for it. I'm friends with those guys. Chi Archie, what's going on, my friend? Thanks for joining me here. Appreciate it. Let's keep it moving. Princeton and Yale. This is a great game up at the Ivy League. Princeton, obviously going to have some trouble here. No Devin Canada. He's still suspended. Yale is moving. Okay, it's up to 7.5 now. 8 at some spots as well. You look at Yale. 1 loss since December 8th. 1 loss. Look at Princeton. They've won 7 straight. But you look at Princeton, I think a lot of their schedule is a bit of a fraud. Princeton's actually played pretty good defensively, though. But you look at this team, Yale. This is a team that is much better than really every team they've faced over the last 7 games. You look at their last loss. It came against Duke. Since then, Princeton's wheeled off 7 in a row. They beat Lafayette. Who cares? Arizona State, I guess that's a good win. But I believe that loss came right after they beat Kansas, so it was a bad spot for Arizona State. They beat Penn twice, Columbia, Cornell, and something called Wesley. So, again, I think this is going to be a tough matchup. Yale is not only good offensively, they're very efficient, and they're very good defensively as well. This team is top 30 in defensive efficiency. They're that good. Their only loss has come against Harvard, who we're going to talk about here in just a bit. With the inability of Princeton at times to score, no Kennedy, and the fact that Yale's at home, I'd probably lay the number, but it's getting a bit high. That's just the truth. I think maybe a first half's probably a good look here. You look at Yale, probably, 4 in the first half. I'm not in love with this game, but I'm going over every game, so I'll give an opinion. Lean Yale here, but the number's starting to get out of hand. Listen, guys, you don't have to ask about a certain game. I'm going to go over every one. Please stop clogging the chat up asking about games. I will give an opinion on everything. I promise. I'll give an opinion if I like an over. I'll give an opinion if I like the under. I will go over every game. There's no need to ask. Please. There's a lot of people chatting here, and I can't take all this stuff kind of blowing the chat up. Dennis Matt, are you related to Richard Matt from Escape from Dannemora? That's a good point. Are you, Dennis? That might be a good connection. Maybe he is. It's a good question. I hope not, because Richard Matt wasn't exactly the nicest person. But I wonder as well. Let's move on. Penn against Brown. This is actually going to be a play of the day. I'm going to go with Penn on the money line here. I like Penn here. I think they get the best of Brown. These teams are both terrific defensively. Brown do a really good job of guarding. But I think Penn is just a better overall team. I think they have the best player in the court in A.J. Brodeur. And look, you look at Brown, I mean, starting to kind of, struggle a little bit. You look at the good teams that Brown play. Yale, Harvard, Butler, teams like that are obviously better than they are. They haven't gotten the job done. Their wins in conference came against Dartmouth. They beat Marist, Stony Brook, Maine, Canisius. Did go beat San Diego State, but I think we all know San Diego State just didn't play well in that game. I'm not going to take anything away from Brown, but when the rubber meets the road, I just trust more what the Penn Quakers do offensively. I really like Brodeur. I think he's a terrific senior player. I like Devin Goodman a lot. I like their coach, Stevie Donahue. I think they have a lot of real confidence right now. And the truth about Brown, while their defensive numbers are good on the surface, in conference they're not. They're 8th in the conference in all the major defensive categories. That has a lot to do with who they played. They're just not great against teams that are better than they are. I think they struggled tonight. Penn's defense has been terrific. I just don't like what I'm seeing out of Brown in conference. And I like what Penn's doing. I think they go on the road. This team has been on the road and won some really good games. Penn's, went on the road and, they beat Temple. They went on the road and just beat Columbia. They went on the road and beat George Mason. They went on the road and beat New Mexico. This is a team that could go on the road and win games. I like what I'm seeing out of them. Thanks, Austin. Yeah, Penn looks real good tonight in this spot. I appreciate that comment. So we'll go with Penn. That's going to be one of the plays of the day here. Columbia and Harvard. I love Harvard here. And they were play of the day status. And they were actually, guys, Harvard's probably my favorite play of the day. And I considered them as a premium tonight. The only thing that I don't like about this game is the line movement. This is a stone cold weird spot for Harvard. I think on paper, they're way better than Columbia. In fact, Columbia has a lot of question marks right now. Colin Smith has been out. That's a huge loss for Columbia. And without him, they're just not the same team. You also look at the fact that Bryce Aiken's back. I don't think Columbia has an answer for Chris Lewis down low. Harvard's won their last 14 games by an average of 14 points. They're at home. They have Tommy Amaker as their coach. I just everything points to Harvard, yet the line has dropped from 12 to 10. Very odd. Very odd. That's the thing that's keeping me off this one because I've seen these stories before. I've seen the Columbia 69-60 kind of wins or losses, where they just sneak inside the number. And that has me worried here. I feel like this is either going to be Harvard win by 30 or it's going to be, a close kind of weird Harvard game where, maybe they're kind of looking ahead a little bit or they're just not focused here. Obviously, in the Ivy League, it takes a special person to play in the Ivy League because you have these back-to-backs. These back-to-backs are pretty tough. Maybe just Harvard's just not focused. Maybe one of their players has something going on. The line's weird. It doesn't make sense to me. I think Harvard's a stone cold play in this game, but the line just doesn't make sense. Maybe you look first half here. Maybe you just lay like 5 or 5.5 in the first half and say, okay, Harvard, let's hope that they come out and play well here. And you look at Harvard in the first half recently. They've done a nice job. They were up 30-24 against Brown, so they would have covered the first half there. You look at against Yale University, they were up big at the half there. They would have covered there. Against Dartmouth, first half, they were up. They're actually down in that game. So you figure you should think they would come out and play well in the first half here and maybe get away from that full game line and worry about any backdoors. But the line's just too weird in this game. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know why Harvard, the numbers come down here. Something tells me that there's something weird in this game. And again, it is a Friday game, which is always interesting. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. Please tell your friends about this show if you have someone you think might like it. And I don't know why you wouldn't. This show is just free info. That's really what it is. Thank you, Alex. Yeah, it's a great show. I will say, Alex, episode 6 is kind of lame. I didn't really like episode 6. It was basically, and if you know anything about Richard Matt and David Sweat, I would recommend not watching episode 6. It's really just a recap of why they're in prison. I didn't like episode 6. I thought it was poorly constructed. And Tilly, they feature where she was too. She was basically a whore. She cheated on her husband with Lyle and then went off with him. But if you're watching Escape from Dannemora, watch it, surely. But it's really poor. I didn't like episode 6. It's really just a recap of how they got to prison and why they're in prison, which if you followed and understand who those two are, you already know why they're in prison. One shot a cop, the other one cut up and dismembered his former boss. So, I'm just telling you, Alex, watch it, but it's not necessary to figure out the ending in the show. Always wondered what happened in the start of NCAA, why you were 0-9. I was 0-9 because I really was focusing on things that I shouldn't have as far as certain spots. It was just a bad run. They happen. I've had them. I don't think it's who I am. And again, that's what's so miraculous about Twitter, because there are so many people that turned on me after going 0-9. Sometimes you got to learn. You got to take things, and learn from them. And you got to take negative things and you got to remember those. Like, for instance, college football. I was terrible this year. Next year I won't bet college football because I know I can make money in other sports. College basketball, 0-9 is not who I am as a handicapper. It's really hurt me because without being 0-9, I'd be up like 10 units on the season in college basketball. But last year I was up 44.5 units, and I think that's a lot more of who I am as a handicapper. Look, I know what I'm talking about. I don't think that's any secret. I don't care if you hate me or love me. One thing you know I can do is I can break a fucking game down. That's that simple. That's in the rear view now. Just like everything I did last night, it's in the rear view. It's all about every game going forward. Let's keep it moving here on the card. We get down to Cornell and Dartmouth. Look, it's very simple with Cornell. It's Matt Morgan, and that's it. Other than that, Cornell University just doesn't have much. They're a team that's not, not playing terribly right now, but just not a game I have much interest in. I think there are better spots to look at on this card. And on a 12-game card, this is probably the game that I have the least to say about. Georgia Southern, UL Monroe. This should be a fun game, actually. You look at both these teams, neither play any defense. Both teams, particularly Georgia Southern, very quick, very pace-driven. They love to move the ball down the court. This game should get both teams in the 80s. Georgia Southern is incredibly fast. Mark Bynting's team's like 10th in the country in pace. Possession length's quick. It's very simple. They run to the basket. They penetrate and get to the basket. Tukey Brown, Quan Jackson, Isaiah Crowley, all these guys, they put their head down, they get to the hoop, and they hopefully get to the foul line or convert. 57% of their points come from 2-point percentage. So what that tells me is they get to the basket, they play a lot of guys, they like to run, they like to create turnovers, and they like to score points. It's that simple. You look at Yale Monroe. Yale Monroe's kind of a great team offensively as well, because what I love about this game from an over perspective is both these teams can score in so many different ways. I just talked about how Georgia Southern just gets to the basket. They just get to the hoop. You look at UL Monroe, I mean, they can't defend worth a fucking lick. They don't defend at all. Now, you look at UL Monroe on offense, they're very three-point driven. Okay, they love to shoot the three. You look at 39% of their points come from the three-point line. They're 51st in the country in three-point attempts to field goal attempts. They love the three, and they're very effective shooting the three. They're almost shooting 40% as a team. Let me say it again, 40% as a team. Deshaun Smith, he's one of the players that you don't know about that's really good. He's terrific. 6'1", he shoots it at over 43%. Michael Erdl, J.D. Williams, Brandon Newman, all these guys shoot the ball at a high level. And guys, guess what? You know who the number one foul shooting team in the country is? Yale Monroe, 79%. This game should have a ton of points. Seriously, should be 85, 82, 87, 84. I don't think there's any weird reason on why this game. The first game was 79, 78. I mean, right at the number. You look at this total. It's at 162. Obviously high, but, I mean, this game should be really fun to watch. If you like offense, I would watch this game. The only thing that prevents this from not going over is just kind of one of those, slow starts or something. Do I like first half in Penn? No, I prefer full game. You're not on Twitter. Okay, fair enough. Catherine Mason checking in saying that Devin Canada is available to play, which is a surprise to me because all indications were that he wasn't going to play. So I have to check on that. That obviously, I didn't really like the game to begin with. It's not really one that I'm interested in. So there you go. Breaking news just came in. Princetonian Sports, Prince Sports on Twitter. Devin Canada has been reinstated and will play tonight. Department of Athletics determined he has served the appropriate suspension according to the university. So there you go. Catherine Mason, great info. Good work. When you're doing the show, it's hard to get some of that. So good work. That's great call by you, Catherine. Thank you. So there you go. If you're looking at, and it's interesting because the line is actually moved in Yale's favor. That's interesting. What that tells me is Yale's going to fucking kill Princeton tonight. Yale's going to win, 68-48 or something. That's weird because Kennedy's in, yet the line went the other way. Princeton might get fucking murdered in this game. So there you go. Great info from Catherine. Thanks, Catherine. Do I still like my Oklahoma bet going further? Look, I place futures on value. As long as you get to the tournament, that's all I really care about at this point. You should reach out to Alan Boston. Would love to hear you talk basketball. I've actually talked to Alan Boston before. Talked to him on the phone. Great guy. I don't know how much content he's doing, but maybe. Al Hard, you missed a few plays. Can you recap us for the latecomers? I will at the end of the show, and I'm only doing it today because there's only 12 games. Did I ever watch the show Vikings? No, I did not. The first game is not 89-76. The first game is 78-76. The first game was that you're talking about UL Lafayette and Georgia State. That was that first game. Let's get to that one. Georgia State and UL Lafayette. First game they played, it was a very high-scoring game, 89-76 in the first game. And this should be kind of a similar game to the game we just talked about. ULL is a shocking defensive team. And for the new people, ULL is Louisiana. I guess they changed their name, but they actually play a back-to-back here, which is interesting. You don't see this. They played each other 3 times this year, which is very odd. Look, both these teams don't defend. In fact, UL Lafayette is a horrendous three-point defense. They're averaging on opponents shooting 39% against Louisiana Lafayette. It's not a good news for Georgia State. It's good news for Georgia State because they are very three-point reliant. DeMarcus Simmons, Devin Mitchell, Malik Benlevy, all these guys shoot the three at a high rate. Should see plenty of points for Georgia State. You look at Lafayette, actually a pretty decent offensive team. I like Stroman, Jakeenan Gant. They're a team that can penetrate and get to the hoop. They're very good at getting to the line and making their shots. This should be a fun game as well. Should see plenty of points in this one here as well. So I would definitely look towards that's incorrect, Mike V. Please, Mike, let me handle the show here. That's not correct, guys. According to Sports Insights, which is the book that I'm using, all the books are showing 7.5 and 8 for this game. So please remember, this line has went up since Kennedy was reported out. So I'm just trying to, please, Mike, don't devalue what I'm doing here. I'm trying to get these info out to people. According to Sports Insights, which uses 7, 8, 9, 10 books, all of them are reporting 7.5, 8 actually. And I pay for this information. I pay for Sports Insights. So I trust that over free odds services. I'm sorry. But thanks for your comments anyway. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The lines went up since since Kennedy was reported in. This line was not 8.5. It opened 6.5. I'm seeing 8, 7.5, 8. But whatever. I'm not on the game. I think Yale's going to win big, for the record. Niagara and Marist. These are two teams that obviously are both very poor. You would think Marist will get the job done here. You got 50-50 tickets on this game. Not really any sharp action. Only 1,200 bets on this game. Marist has David Knudsen and Brian Parker, 2 pretty good players. Should be enough at home to get the job done here. I haven't seen much that I like from Niagara. This is a team that is not what they were last year. Some of the guys they had last year are not walking through the door. Marvin Prochet is about all they have on offense. And outside of that, they're just not very good. Not good on defense either. Marist, for what it's worth, they've won 2 of 3. Why can't – and John Dunn is a great coach. So I think they find a way here to cover the number, but not a game I'm looking at. Thank you, Russ. Appreciate it. Listen, okay, Mike. Mike, what's your point here? Are you just trying to be annoying? Because you're being real annoying right now. Like I know what I'm doing here, Mike. Could you cut it out? Like, you're really kind of being irritating here. Cut it out, dude. Yeah, I gave my opinion, Mike, and you keep talking. What I'm seeing here is this line was 6.5 and went up to 8. I'm not seeing any 8.5, Mike. I'm looking right now at Pinnacle. This line was at 8.5 for like literally 1 minute. That's it. 1 minute, Mike. You're talking that this line was at 8.5 for like hours on end. I'm not quoting that crap. Other people might do it, but I'm not doing it. I'm not quoting a line at 8.5 when no one can get that. It's bad ethics, and I'm not doing it. At any rate, I think they win by 10, so I don't really care. But just give it up, Mike. I'm not blocking him. He didn't say anything bad. He's just being annoying. I want to explain how I do things here. That's all. I'm just explaining. I'm not going to give a bad line. Okay, Mike, we're not going to talk about this anymore. Let's just move on. Mike obviously is trying to make a name for himself here and kind of go against everything that we're talking about. But okay, Mike, go. Then I hope you grabbed the 8.5 because maybe you're good then. I hope you did so. Mike, I just said I'm not going to block you. Just that's that. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it. Mike's fine. Leave Mike alone. Mike's trying to prove a point. All I'm saying is the point is it wasn't at that number for very long. That's all. Thanks to everyone in here right now. I appreciate all of you. Please hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. You don't ever want to miss a show. Again, programming note, we'll be on every day at 5 o'clock Eastern going over the basketball cards. We're also now on Saturday, 10 o'clock Eastern. Make sure you join us. We'll go over the card. Let's go to the next game here. Now, where the hell did my odd service go? Fuck, man. Back to my odd service. I can't do this without that. All right, Siena and Manhattan. Siena, 2.5, with a lot of money coming in on Siena. This line is very much not moved. I think it went up about a half a point from open. You have 2,752 tickets on this game. You have 73% of the tickets, 84% of the money on Siena, and this line really hasn't moved. You have a total here at 113.5. Listen, here's what I'm going to tell you about this game. Spent a lot of time on this. I think the value play here is going over. Could have got 112.5 a little bit ago. I'm actually starting to like what I'm seeing a little bit from Manhattan. And I know, they're not a good team. In fact, they're pretty heinous. But I will say this, they're at home. I think Masayella is a pretty good coach. They've won 3 in a row. And I like what I'm seeing out of Samir Stewart and Tyler Reynolds. They're playing a lot of guys, too. You look at their bench minutes, 45%. Third in the country in bench minutes. They play a lot of guys. Masayella just empties the bench and say, all right, go out and do what we can do here, boys. I mean, 58-57 is a winner here. You just look at what Siena does, and they don't really play into Manhattan's hands. Manhattan loves to turn you over. Siena doesn't turn it over. Neither of these teams shoot free throws well, which hurts. I mean, this game has the markings of like 8 for 20 and like 11 for 21 from the line, and we leave 10 to 15 points on the line. But this total is so low. It's very low. You don't see totals like this very often. But Siena actually, what Siena is so interesting is both these teams are really slow-paced. So they're always going to take a lot of time to find the best shot. Siena is dead last, guys, in the country in possession length. They take 22 seconds on each possession. So that means with a shot clock, they're taking massive amounts of time. But what they do is they are decently efficient. So you can expect that. You just got to hope they make their shots, because if they don't make their shots in this game won't get to 100 because they take too much time off the clock. They're taking almost, 22 seconds off every possession. Let's say they get 60 possessions. I mean, that's a lot of time off the clock you're losing. And if they don't shoot the ball well, you're not getting to fucking 100 here, let alone 113. But I'm willing to think, with how bad Manhattan is on defense at times, I'm willing to think they can score here. And I'm also looking at Manhattan's offense and saying, I actually like how they're playing lately. To be honest, they do a decent job at rebounding the basketball. They're rebounding almost 31% of their misses, which is pretty good. You just have to hope that they can do something. They love to shoot the three. If they can, this is so you're really dependent on them really making their shots. It's that simple. Because the possession length, you're not going to hit this game. And that's why there are a lot of games tonight where you need a lot of things to go your way. And you're dependent on, Manhattan and Siena. You got to remember, when you take an over, you feel good about it. When you take an over routine, these two teams, you just don't really feel that good about it. It's really, everything I'm saying is hypocritical, really, but you're truly in a clash of styles here. So I wouldn't have any interest in playing it. Listen, guys, cut it out. Leave him alone. Like he was trying to prove a point, and we're good. Cut out, threatening him and stuff. There's no need for that. Yayas, you're on your last leg here. Seriously. I mean, you've been a real prick for a long time, so you're getting close here. There's no need to tell him to go play in traffic. There's no need for that. He's not an asshole. There's no need for it. If he's a dick, then you can say whatever you want, but there's no need to say it. He's not being an asshole. He's being annoying. That's it. There's no need to tell him to go play in traffic. If he was being a prick, then whatever, but he's not. Everyone leave Mike alone. Yeah, listen, Muhammad, I would avoid the game. It's hard to trust these two. And I don't want anyone to take one of these games and say, oh, I like the over. I'm going to take it. It's too low. And then this game is 48-45 with 3 to go. Because these teams are going to fuck you. It's that simple. There's a reason these teams stink. Because they fuck you. You don't bet on teams like this. It's that simple. And if anyone asks me, what should you bet on and what shouldn't you bet on, you should bet on decent basketball teams, regardless of what level they play at. You look at a team like, I don't know, Samford, let's say. Are they a great team record-wise? No. Are they a great team in the scheme of things? No. But they do a lot of things to keep them in games. You can't coach bad. When a team's bad, they're bad. You don't trust them. And these are two groups I just don't trust. Who wins? Flip a fucking coin. They both stink. I'm telling you right now, if any of you have a wager in this game, I think you're going to be hurting yourself at the end of the night. You're truly flipping a coin here. This is truly, will these teams shoot well? And you're dealing with these two. Why do you ever want to deal with that? Just don't bet it. Just stay away. Take the $100 you're going to bet on this game and go out and buy your girl something, or go buy your kids, or take your kids to a, bounce house or something. I don't know. Or you go eat something better than you would tonight, If I had a free $500 bet on this game and someone said, bet this game with this free $500 or I'm going to blow your head off, frankly, I'd take the under. Because I think a lot of people will look at this game and say, I need to bet on the over because it's too low and these teams are playing better. And they are. I like the way Manhattan's played. But I know schematics. I know the way these teams are. And it just doesn't constitute a lot of points. You really need these teams to shoot the ball well. That's what you're going to need. Because the number as far as pace isn't going to be there. Have I been to a bounce house? No, I don't have any kids. Why would I go to a bounce house? I don't have any kids. I would go under here at this number at 113.5. I can actually get 114s out there. I would go under at this number. Canisius, a Rider. I have to honestly wonder, why is Rider laying 9.5? What's that all about? Has anyone watched Rider lately? I mean, there's not a more disappointing team than Rider. But you know what people do in the MAAC? Nobody gives a fuck about the regular season. The regular season in the MAAC is kind of like, dirty water. I mean, it's useless. There's no use for the MAC tournament. There's no use for dirty water. Dirty water is absolutely useless. There's no use for it. There's a lot of things in life that are useless. I'm not going to go into what I think is useless, but we can all agree dirty water is useless. The MAAC tournament is useless. It's absolutely useless. So Ryder's not playing well now, and they're losing to Manhattan and Monmouth, but it really doesn't fucking matter if they lose this game or win this game. That's the point. So I don't want to bet this conference. It's that simple. I'll wait till the conference tournament. However, if I had to play a game in this conference tonight, I would play Quinnipiac. I think Quinnipiac's worth a look here, +4. I just don't like Iona. I don't think they're very good. They don't do anything well. They don't play defense. And for the record, they've lost 4 or 5. And they're not losing. They're losing to bad teams here. You look at what Quinnipiac does well. Their coach's name is Baker Dunleavy. If you know that last name, you know why. He's a Dunleavy. They are 77th in 3-point percentage at 37%. Iona is hideous against the three. Hideous. Quinnipiac also get to the line and make 70% of their foul shots. That keeps you in games. Give me Quinnipiac. I think they covered tonight. But this fucking conference stinks. One more game here, and then I'll get to what I feel are the best plays on this card. There's nothing premium here. Nothing on this card is premium, but I will give you my best of the best. Kent against Akron. How about that? A lone MAC game tonight. Akron playing well. They've won 3 of 4. I think one thing about Akron that I have to like is Daniel Utome playing better. He hadn't been playing well. They didn't win. It's that simple. When Utome plays well, they play well. You look at Akron tonight, I would bet them at 5. They're at 4. I'd probably lay it here with them. I like what Jamond Ivey gives you. Lauren Jackson, both these two guys, really good guards. And I generally like John Gross as a coach. And they're at home here. Lean Akron. Plays that I like the most. I think Georgia Southern Yale Monroe goes over. I think the Penn game is good. I like that one. I like Quinnipiac, frankly. There's some good games in this card tonight. Favorite play, I would probably say, is Penn. And I would take, at the line I had it, I bet it on the money line. And when I bet it, it was I think 1. It's up to -1.5 or 2. So, I think this is a game, a night where there are some surprises. Wouldn't be surprised if St. Joe's get the job done and St. Louis stub their toe. I think Marist can beat up Niagara. Quinnipiac could throw a wrench in. We talked about Harvard and Columbia. It's just a weird card. A lot of weirdness here. Just not much. That's it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. We're just going to kind of run going forward. Any questions on anything? We're going to stay on for another 5 or 10 minutes here. Not going to be a long show outside of what we just did. We went over every game, and we gave an opinion on every game. So it was a real fun show. People ask about the card tomorrow. I've had my eye on some things, but nothing sent out yet. We will have some stuff sent out. If you're willing to jump on board and you want to join us, it's rightwager.com. All you got to do is register and sign up. You get all my picks. Will there be a Periscope tonight? I got to get a haircut later. If there is one, it'll be around midnight probably. Yeah, I usually don't have an opinion on the MAC. And if you noticed, there was only one game tonight, so I just hit it. Am I hanging out with my girl tonight? Nah, she's coming over tomorrow. Yeah, Return of the Mac's a great song. What do I think about the 21 Savage situation? I don't think it's true. I think it's another way for the federal government to show that they have a hand into ICE and things are important here. I think it's a complicated, weird situation. I don't think 21 Savage is even from England. I think it's stupid. I think it's shameful, really. Look, my opinion on immigration is not a popular one. I'm a liberal opinion on immigration. I think a lot of people comment on immigration that have no opinion and no idea what they're talking about. Most people live in very good situations. Most people don't know what it's like to suffer, and I can't say I do. But one thing I do know is I've seen a lot of people that I know personally that have suffered, and a lot of them are in bad situations. They came to this country. You look at Albania, for instance. I know plenty of people from Kosovo that left the country and came here illegally due to troops burning down their villages, raping their women, pillaging their communities. Nobody knows what it's like to suffer in squalor, whether you're from Guatemala, Honduras, Kosovo, Syria, wherever you're from. I feel like everyone has the opinion to come here and have a better life. And is it always easy to get here? No. But if you've lived here for 30, 40 years and these fucking ICE comes to your house and takes you away, you pay taxes, you do the things you're supposed to do as an American. I know of a woman in Detroit. She lived here for 40 years. She created a life here. She created everything. She's from Albania. They cut her loose and sent her home. She has no life in Albania. She doesn't know anyone there. to me, the immigration issues are pathetic, and most of these people that want to comment on them have no idea. They don't know what it's like. They don't know what it's like to suffer. They don't know what it's like to have your life in squalor. I'm very sickened by it. And I'll tell you what, without a lot of people in this country, we wouldn't be very far. I don't. Again, 21 Savage again is someone that lives in very good conditions. I don't know his situation really. I'm just really kind of talking about the overall. As far as having a fully loaded Glock on him, um, whatever. I mean, he's a fucking recording artist. I mean, probably should have a bodyguard. Probably not a good idea there. But look, I don't. I feel more bad for the people that aren't famous and don't have a ton of money. I mean, you look at 21 Savage. 21 Savage, I'm sure we'll get this figured out. Most regular people don't. So we can all be and have an opinion, and we can all be these curbside lawyers that want to talk about immigration's bad and you need to come here legally. Do you really think these people are coming here because everything's rosy where they live? Like, give me a fucking break. And no offense, but a fucking border wall is not going to protect against drugs. 90% of the drugs that come into this country come through the Caribbean and through Colombia and Panama and the Bahamas and all these places. Border wall is not going to protect against that. You think because you put a border wall up that drugs are going to stop coming into this country? Why don't we address the problem here now? There's an opioid issue now here. Do you know where we'd be without immigrants in this country? Seriously? All those people that you think are trying to, sit around and not do anything. Do you know where we'd be without immigrants? Are the hardest working people of us all. We as Americans are lazy. We don't want to work. Go to kitchens in this country. Go to garden centers. Go to fields across America. Go to landscaping companies. Go to, any hard labor in this country. I'm going to guarantee the person doing it is not American. Cut it out. Give me a break. I don't care if you're conservative or liberal. That fucking meal you're going to eat tonight was probably made by an immigrant. Your nice plush lawn out front was probably cut by an immigrant. That water you're drinking that's packaged was probably packaged by an immigrant. We are so quick to vilify these people. But without them, we wouldn't fucking function here. I hate to tell you. I hate to tell you people that all you people that live in fucking plush homes and have all this great stuff, but you're so quick to vilify a Syrian or a Mexican or a Guatemalan or an Albanian or a Romanian. You're so quick to vilify these people. I don't want them near me. Do you know where we'd be without them? And you want to throw them out? Come on. Cut it out. Cut it out. It's sad, really. Go live in Guatemala and see how you get on. Probably wouldn't be too good. So that's all, folks. As who said that? Bugs Bunny. He said that. City Council's calling my name someday. Someday. I love helping people. If there's someone that needs me, I will help them. I want to go and help people. That's why one reason I want to coach. I don't want to coach because I love basketball, but I want to coach because I want to help people. I want to help kids. Shout out to Italy, my friend. Buonasera. I'm actually learning Italian right now. It's something you don't know about the big man. I have a program. I'm on the third lesson, and I'm learning Italian. So soon I'll be able to talk to you. Simone. Buonasera. Thank you, Barham. That's a great point by you. Yeah, I would love to be a coach. And a lot of it has to do with I just want to help kids, that maybe don't have the same upbringing that I had. You know how important a father is to every child in America? It's so important. That is if you throw out every single thing in your life, the one constant you can tell you is if you had a father around, you probably turned out okay. You probably turned out you didn't get arrested. You probably turned out you didn't have any trouble. Fathers are integral to your life. A man in your life is very important. And there's so many kids that don't have a father. Fathers are crucial. They're crucial to the development of kids. They're crucial to the development of how they act and live in life. And the sad reason is most fathers are non-existent. They're kids having kids, and kids that aren't prepared for it. So that's what I want to do. I want to help those kids. Awesome, Shadow. That's great. Yeah, I'm as I kind of have more time, that's something I'm looking into, doing some social work, volunteering, and I actually want to work in the city that I live in now. It's very welcoming as far as immigrants are concerned. We have companies that, where I live now, it's very Latin influence. We have a lot of Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Dominicans, Colombians, a lot of Spanish people here. We also have a large influx of Middle Easterns, Somalians, Yemeni, Syrian, a lot of different people, and that's something I want to kind of get into helping as well. And North Africans and those kind of people. Yeah, dads do everything. Do you know where I'd be without my dad? Because I was a real fuck up in high school, real prick. I was a real shithead. But my dad, he gave me tough love. He taught me what to do and what not to do. And a lot of the time, my mother, I would go against her a lot of the time. I think, and again, there are a lot of great mothers out there. And my mother's great as well. But my dad was the disciplinary. When I did something stupid, my dad hit me. It's that simple. And I didn't do it again. It's too easy now to just sit, kids walk on their parents because you can't hit a kid no more. I remember the very few times that my father hit me, I always remember them. Always. And I never did it again. Yeah, I'm going to try to, Austin. I'll be in Philly next week. I'm going to try to. It's so tough, though. But it is a balance. It's a great point. But the problem with when you don't have a father in a two-parent household is the mother, while she wants to be a mother, she can't because she has to work. It sucks. It's tough. But appreciate all of you guys watching. Fun show today. Any NBA plays? Yeah, I like the what do I like tonight? NBA. I like the Knicks tonight. I like the Knicks. The new look Knicks. How about that? This all started from someone asking me about 21 Savage. So whoever that was, congratulations. Thank you. This show's going to look a lot longer than it was. But before I go, a couple plays I do like. I like Penn on the money line. Do like Yale Monroe, Georgia Southern over. And I like Quinnipiac a little bit. We don't have a wall for Canada, and all these wannabe handicappers just making their way down here. Do I like Philly tonight? I don't like the game. I'm staying away. I'm just rooting as a fan. Very excited for the game tonight. We got our new look Sixers coming in. Got a game at home. I'll be there next Tuesday. I'm excited. Celtics, Sixers. Does anyone know if Booker is playing tonight? I haven't heard anything. If I'm looking at this line, it's probably an indication that he's not. Does it really matter, though? They're playing the Warriors. So, yeah, I like the Knicks. That's one play I moved on. So, Taylor fade, as they say. All right, guys, I'm out of here. You all have a great night. Great conversation, as always. A great game time decision. So, We don't have any idea. I'm going to order some dinner here, and I'm going to be around later. I got to get a haircut later, so I'll probably be on Periscope a bit later, watching my Sixers at 7. All of you have a great night. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget, guys, tomorrow, 10 a.m., we'll be here going over the large basketball slate. Try to go over as many as we can. And if you're interested in my premium selections, 34 of 54 I've hit. You can join me at rightwager.com. Get on board. It's very cheap. Donnie's actually at 3 in a row also. So he's coming out of the fire a little bit. So all of you have a great night. Thanks for joining us.